All right, Shalom. All praise going on. It goes to Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakak double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone and the Royal Well, and peace and blessings to the elect. This is another edition of GMS News and Prophecy. Now, I have an article from the WashingtonPost.com, and this headline: New government leaflets tell Swedes to be prepared for war. All right. So this is another World War III update. Countries all over the world are gearing up for war, for a battle, because that's the tension that's in the earth right now between these other nations. Okay, the spirit in the earth right now is a spirit of war. It's not a time of peace, but a time of war. Okay. And this is important because it lets us know that we're coming to the end, okay? And not the end of Earth or the planet or anything like that, but we're coming to the end of this society, which is ruled by the so-called white man, which we all know is Edom or Esau in the scriptures, okay, in the Bible. And all these different countries, they're preparing their armies and the military for war. Even here in Sweden, okay. So matter of fact, the first scripture I'm gonna get, all right, is Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, and Ecclesiastes chapter 3. Let's see, all right. Ecclesiastes 3 and 8, it says, matter of fact, let me start at verse 1. It says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Okay, so there's a time for everything. But now the time that I want to focus on is this one, verse 8. All right, it says, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. Okay, so as we can see here, from this article, we're not in a time of peace right now. We're in a time of war. Okay? Now, these other countries, they speak peace and they talk about peace, but they don't exemplify peace. Okay? Especially the so-called white man. He uses his way of peace is to war. Okay, his way of peace is to war. And the scripture says, when you read Revelation, it says that the red horse was going to take peace from the earth. Well, that red horse, okay, that is representative of Esau, Edom, okay, the red people, which is the so-called white man. He's really red, all right, and his purpose is to take peace from the earth. And how is he going to do that? By war. Okay? He's doing it by war. So we are in the time of war. We're not in the time of peace. The peace is going to come when the real Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, or Native Americans, are set back up in their kingdom. That's when we're going to be in peace. Okay? That's when the earth is going to be at rest. But before we can rest, we must go through these times of war. Okay? So I'm going to jump into the article. It says, in a country that hasn't been at war for more than 200 years, preparing for the worst means going back to the basics. So here you have it, after 200 years, now they're preparing for war. Okay? After 200 years, now the Swedes in Sweden are preparing for war. And why is that? All of a sudden, Sweden's talking about war? When was the last time you heard of Sweden being involved in a conflict or war? Right? So it says here it's been more than 200 years. Okay? So this is how we know that it's the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai in the earth doing these things, with these government leaders and their militaries that's pushing this spirit out in the earth for war. Because that's what time we're in. Okay? I'm going to get into it and read some more. It says, good hand hygiene is important for avoiding infection. Cautions a new leaflet that is due to be distributed to all 4.8 million Swedish households by the government in Stockholm in an effort to increase the nation's war and crisis readiness. Next to a drawing that depicts fighter jets and tanks in the picturesque and historically peaceful Swedish landscape, the authors urge their readers to take the advice seriously. It says, if Sweden is attacked by another country, we will never give up, they assert, and don't be fooled by any fake news reports to the contrary. Some years ago, the campaign may have been laughed off as a taxpayer-financed 20-page guide for preppers, gun-toting, bunker-building survivalists, always preparing for the end of days. See? And this is how you know that the spirit of the Lord is the one that's doing this. Because now all of a sudden everybody's talking about Armageddon, World War III, the end of days. You know, that spirit is in the earth because that's the will of the Lord, man. It's the end of days. It's the end of the days that Esau will be ruling. Okay? It says, these days, however, there isn't much ridicule. Okay? It says, while experts estimate it would take a week to fully mobilize the Swedish military, other scenarios predict Russia could invade Europe within only 2 days. Amid concerns over Russian military exercises, the Swedish government brought back the draft, okay? And that's going to come to America. This draft is going to come to America as well, okay? It says, and is looking into expanding its existing network of shelters, even though it already has 65,000 such structures, which would provide space for up to 2/3 of its population of 10 million. Russia has been accused of several risky military maneuvers near or inside Swedish airspace during the past few years, raising concerns over an accidental or deliberate escalation of tensions. Right? So they've heard of rumors of war and what Russia may do, you know, coming into Europe or invading Europe or Sweden or things like that. So they're doing what? They're preparing their country for war, man. Okay? It says here, it says Sweden has 20,000 active military members, while Russia has over 1 million, and the Swedes would be unlikely to win any confrontation with Moscow. Stockholm also isn't a member of NATO, the military alliance that obliges members to help defend member states in case of an attack. Okay, so they have to basically build their own military. You know, hey man, and this is a lot. So let me read down here. It says, to prepare its citizens for this new world, the guide under the title If Crisis or War Comes was designed to be accessible to citizens and residents with varying language skills, both in Swedish and English. It comes with illustrations showing Swedes fending off foreign powers or responding to catastrophes, as well as lists of essential food or advice on how to deal with the broken toilet. Sweden is one of the richest nations in the world, which may be why the authors go to great lengths to describe the impact of war or crisis in as much detail as possible. In just a short time, your everyday life can become problematic. The heating stops working. It becomes difficult to prepare and store food. The shops may run out of food and other goods. There is no water coming from the taps or the toilet. It is not possible to fill up your car. Payment cards and cash machines do not work. Mobile networks and the internet do not work. Public transport and other means of transport are at a standstill. It becomes difficult to obtain medicines and medical equipment. See, and the thing about it is, these things this leaflet in Sweden has listed, that's happening all over the world right now. It's happening in Venezuela, Bolivia, it's happening in Puerto Rico, it's happening in Greece, it's happening in Portugal, it's happening in all kinds of countries, man. Okay? So it's just a sign of the times, man. You know, it's just the times that we're living in right now, man. Okay? And all these countries are preparing their military for war. Why? Because it's a time of war. And we see it, man. You know, we see it. So I'm going to end off on this scripture here. Joel, the 3rd chapter. All right. And it's just a quick lesson. You know, I just want to get straight to the point. uh, and just speak on the things that's happening right now. It's all prophecy, man. Okay, so this is Joel 3 and verse 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Now this is talking about the natural Gentiles, the heathen nations, whether it be Esau, which is the so-called white man, and the countries that they run, whether it be Moab, which is the Chinese and the Koreans, or Ammon, which are the Japanese, Ham, which are the Africans, even in the Pacific Islands, which are the people of Japhet. All these heathens are preparing for war. Okay? It says, prepare war, wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Okay? And that's what the Swedes are saying here, man. Okay? All right? Prepare for war. New government leaflets tell Swedes to be prepared for war, man. Okay? And you can see in the image here, okay, this is a Swedish where it says here, a squad from the Skaraborg regiment patrols outside Visby's 13th century city wall while training on the island of Gotland, Sweden, which more than likely that was an Israelite stronghold in the Dark Ages. And now these Edomites have taken over, Sweden, but nonetheless they're training their military for war in these last days. Okay. This is Joel 3 and 10. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Right? Because the article had mentioned about they wouldn't be able to overcome Russia. Right? It says Sweden has 20,000 active military members, while Russia has over 1 million. And the Swedes would be unlikely to win in any confrontation with Moscow. This letting them know that compared to Russia and Moscow, they're weak, man. But then when you go up in the article, it says this. It says, if Sweden is attacked by another country, we would never give up. Okay? So that's them saying that, you know what? We may not have the strongest military and the most men, but we're strong, man. And that's what the scriptures are saying, man. That's how you know what's getting ready to happen. World War III is getting ready to take place, man. Okay? World War III is getting ready to take place. And in the spirit of Yahweh Bashan Washai mustereth the host of the battle. That it says in Isaiah the 13th chapter. He's bringing these armies together. Okay? I'm going to read some more. It says, Joel 3 and 11, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord, which are the angels and the so-called UFOs. Even they're going to take part in this battle. It says, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, which means Yahweh's judgment in the Hebrew, Yahweh Shaphat, which the valley is in the Middle East, in the Arabian desert, in that area, in that region in the Middle East. It says, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. So the Lord is going to judge them. Okay? And it's because of what the heathen have done to the nation of Israel by putting us in slavery. Okay? That's why this is going to take place. And I'm going to prove that when you go to Joel 3 and 2. It says, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel, the Israelites, whom they have scattered among the nations and part of my land. That's how you know it's talking about the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans on this side of the world, and those of us that are scattered. Okay? Because we all went, all the tribes, Native Americans and Hispanics too, we all went on slave ships at one point in time into these other nations, man. Okay? Mainly by the so-called white man. All right? So the Lord is going to bring them into this Third World War to destroy them and set his people back up. But first, these other nations, they have to prepare for war, man. Okay? So that's the time we're living in, man. All right? Prophecies coming to pass quickly and speedily. And we must be prepared. All right? In the spirit. While these other nations prepare in the flesh, we prepare in the spirit. All right? But with that, I hope all was edified. I'm going to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well. And as always, peace and blessings to the elect. Until the next time, I say shalom.